Chapter 21 Plan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay, Mother, where should we go next? Directly to Beehive Island. After calming down, Hades looked at Nyx and asked. He felt that the reason why his mother came here in person must have made arrangements for them. No, don't make it too simple. Nyx shook her head. She didn't want Hades to go to that place too early. With Hades' strength alone and the power of the death fruit, he could barely gain a foothold in the Rock's Pirates and become a formal member, but to become a cadre, it is even worse. After all, Hades is still too young, and Nyx doesn't want Hades to be too popular and needs enough time to grow. People who dance too happily are easily targeted, and even Nyx has a hard time protecting Hades. There is a gathering place for monsters, even cadres are divided into two levels according to their strength, and she is just an ordinary cadre now. In fact, there are only 3 divisions in the Rock's Pirates: cannon fodder, official members and cadres, but those cannon fodders all regard themselves as official members of the Rock's Pirates. Every one of those official members is a big pirate if put on the sea, just like it was her, but compared with those real monsters, there is another gap like a chasm. If you go there without a certain foundation, you might get eaten up and nothing will be left. If Hades is just a nobody, forget it. Just keep a low profile for a while, but Hades' identity means that he cannot keep a low profile, and the possibility of being targeted is not small. I'm going to take you to a place to practice for 2 years. Your fruit abilities need time to develop, and your domineering skills need to be trained. I will take you to Beehive Island in 2 years. Nyx revealed his plans and planned them beforehand. She had faith in Hades, and 2 years would be enough for him to undergo an astonishing transformation. The Tartarus family has a strong bloodline, and Jaeger is the leader among them. He is a natural monster with a terrifying physique that is called the fierce god within the Tartarus family: steel and iron bones, natural strength, terrifying vitality like a beast king, and a ferocious aura like a demon. Even without the death fruit, Jaeger is still the top monster in the sea with his monster-like physique. Compared to the name of the god of death, it is not so much the death fruit that makes Jaeger, but more that Jaeger makes this devil fruit. As the child of Jaeger, Hades has perfectly inherited this physique. The naturally awakened domineering power indicates the potential to be even better than Jaeger. Hades nodded. His mother must know more about the Rock's Pirates. Most of my impressions of the Rock's Pirates are from my previous life, and most of the future maritime overlords will come from the Rock's Pirates. At this time, the Rock's Pirates have not yet reached their true peak. Some of the monsters that will be famous in the future, such as Whitebeard, Golden Lion, and Big Mom, have not yet joined the Rock's Pirates. Even if he joins the Rock's Pirates, he is only a formal member. They have just emerged and have not yet become the core of the Rock's Pirates, but they will be able to grow quickly based on their potential. Among the familiar names, John, Silver Axe, and Wang Ji are the most famous ones. Perhaps because they are older, they are now the core cadres of Rock's Pirates. Even so, there are many strong men in the Rock's Pirates that Hades has never heard of. They may die early in future battles, or they may be caught and pushed into the city without being known to anyone. King of Violence Kosa, a superhuman muscle fruit user. Death Gun Leon, a Superman with the ability to penetrate fruit. Golden King Donovan, a Superman with the golden fruit ability. Werewolf Quello, a phantom beast species, a human-fruited person with the ability to form a werewolf, and he is also a member of the werewolf tribe, a rare alien race on the sea. They are all strong men who joined the Rock Pirates in the early days of their establishment. They were of the same era as Rock D. Jibak, and some of them are even older than Rock D. Jibak. At first, they were all famous overlords in the New World, but they were all defeated by Rocks, and the pirate group was merged into the Rocks Pirate Group. They are the real core cadres of the Rock's Pirates at present. People like John, Silver Axe, Wang Ji, and the future Golden Lion, Whitebeard and others are just rising stars of the Rock's Pirates, but it is precisely because of them that they shaped the Rock's Pirates to their true peak. There are many similar unknown monsters in the future. In the future, all news about the Rock's Pirates has been blocked by the world government. As time goes by, no one knows how many people have been forgotten by the times. Therefore, Hades is currently in a very early period, which also gives Hades ample time to develop. It would be nice to have someone to protect him. This was also the main purpose of leaving the kingdom of Kronos. All he needed now was time to grow up. No matter how powerful the potential is, it requires pressure to activate and time to transform into strength. Even if he reaches the Rock's pirates, he still needs several years to develop. He needs more arduous experience, and the beasts of the kingdom of Kronos can no longer bring pressure to him. Hades also had some expectations about where his mother would take him. But the general situation can be guessed. Different routes lead to the same destination. A harsher environment, and more ferocious beasts. There are many such islands in the New World, but the prerequisite is that they need to be safe and not disturbed by others. Do as you say, mother. Hades said, his eyes narrowed slightly, and a strong evil aura erupted from his body. Before that, though, there are a few rats that need to be cleaned up. Hades glanced around. There were nearly 200 pirates on the ship, all of whom were his mother's men and members of the night pirates. His eyes slowly fell on a few people, locking them firmly with an aura full of malice. As if aware of Hades' gaze, their bodies stiffened and their expressions changed. The titan behind Hades then erupted with a terrifying aura, staring at the surroundings. The strange devouring power emerged outside his body. Exuding a breathtaking attraction, a ferocious and greedy mouth grew. Out of the palm of Titan's right hand, Ananke also looked around vigilantly, ready to use his abilities. Chapter 22: The Rat in the Dark and the Powerful Nyx. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Who is it? Nyx gritted his teeth, a chill emanating from his body, and the air seemed to be condensed with a layer of frost. Nyx knew about Hades' ability, the innately awakened haki that could perceive emotions, and after development, he could judge whether others were malicious towards him. Even if there is no malicious intent, certain emotions can reveal whether someone has other intentions. To a certain extent, Hades can guess what they are probably thinking, even if it is deeply hidden. Some clues can still be discerned. Coincidentally, Hades studied psychology for a period of time in his previous life. Coupled with the connection between seeing, hearing and sex over the years, my grasp of emotions has reached a very deep level. The domineering atmosphere enveloped the entire pirate ship, and the different faces seemed to appear in front of Hades. No matter how good his appearance is, in front of Hades, his mind is full of loopholes. In other words, there were spies sent by other forces. On her ship, as a pirate, the one thing you hate the most is a traitor, and the one you can't avoid the most is a traitor. It is not uncommon for a ship to change owners several times on the sea, but this has undoubtedly touched a nerve in Nyx, knowing that Hades is now on her ship. If the news leaks out, it will be troublesome for the world government and the Navy to target him. This is something she definitely doesn't want to see. How can it be allowed? As soon as they finished speaking, before they could jump out, the entire ship was shrouded in thick shadows in a short period of time, forming a shadow realm that blocked any means of escape. Kill him. Unable to hide it any longer, the leading agent gritted his teeth and let out a loud shout, very decisively. That needle-like gaze made him understand this fact. Although I don't know why my identity was exposed, I can only fight to the death at this time. As spies, they are instinctively sensitive to smells and eyes, and they are sure that they have been targeted by Hades. They are just agents trained by the world government. Although their strength is good, it is just that, there is no way he can compare with a big pirate like Nyx. The threat of Nyx is not worthy of the world government's attention, so it sends a small number of CP0. Even if Nyx is killed, it will not have any impact on the situation in the sea. Moreover, Nyx herself is very vigilant. All she needs is cannon fodder. If she were stronger, she would be suspected. For them, Nyx is an existence that they cannot compete with. Especially now that Nyx has blocked the entire ship, there is no possibility for them to escape, which means that their latent mission has failed. But as long as Nyx's son is killed, it will all be worth it. But how is this possible? Things don't happen as they imagine. This is just a beautiful fantasy before one's death. The entire ship had turned into the shadow realm of Nyx, and tentacles emerged from the shadows, binding their bodies immediately, making them unable to resist. The next moment, shadow spears pierced directly through their bodies and took away their lives. Even if they learn armament haki, they cannot cover their whole body. The entire process takes less than a few seconds from start to finish. The power displayed by Nyx is amazing, and no one in the Rock's pirates dares to underestimate this woman. The ability of the night fruit can control shadows at will. Especially at night, the effect of the ability can be maximized. It even transformed into a shadow and moved quickly within the shadow, appearing and disappearing. it has many advantages compared to other natural systems. Being able to hide in the shadows at any time, this ability is innately invincible. Even when facing an opponent who is stronger than her, she can hold off for a long time without losing, and she can leave the battlefield at any time if she wants, relying on the power of the night and night fruit. Even though the Navy tried to encircle and suppress Nyx many times, Nyx eventually escaped, but he suffered a lot of losses. Secretly, Nyx is also known as the Queen of the Night. Of course, the most well-known is the wife of Death Jaeger. After all, Jaeger's halo is too strong and he still has huge influence today. This can be said to be a small accident, easily put out by Nyx. The sky turned blue again, the shrouded shadow disappeared, and Nyx was taken back into the body. The other crew members on the ship did not dare to look at them. They could not hide their fear and went about their business honestly. For what happened? What did Hades say? They don't know and don't want to know. Nyx didn't care. None of these members were very powerful. To her, they were just cannon fodder. Yes, in the Rocks Pirates, if you don't become a formal member, you are just an ant. Those large numbers of ordinary members who are actually cannon fodder are available as much as they want. They are like consumables. If you don't have them, you can recruit them. Even if you die, no one will care about you, and if you are killed by other members, no one will come forward. Only by becoming a formal member can one be considered a human being in the Rocks Pirates. The so-called cadre title was just added by the pirates below. After all, they have always considered themselves members of the Rocks Pirates, but his own strength is not recognized, so he can only rely on those powerful pirates. Therefore, those who can become cadres are basically big pirates with a bounty of hundreds of millions, powerful loners, leaders of a small group, or captains of affiliated pirate groups. Death is very common in the Rocks Pirates, and fighting each other is a common occurrence. In a word, strength is the most important thing, which means that you have the strength to kill the superior person and achieve the following to defeat the superior person, so that you can easily replace the position of others. There are so many pirates who want to join the Rocks Pirates, so grab your scalp. Every time the pirate group suffered a loss, it would be replenished in a short period of time. Although the competition is fierce, with these strong people taking the lead, they can get a lot of treasure every time. Just like Rocks promised when he founded the Rocks Pirates, you can make a lot of money by following him. The entire New World, the vast land, nominally belongs to the Rocks Pirates, and countless islands have flags belonging to the Rocks Pirates. Even those chaotic underground world forces need to pay protection fees when facing the Rocks Pirates. He even maintains close contact with the Rocks Pirates. The offerings from these islands and forces alone are enough to support the development of the Rocks Pirates. Compared with its initial barbaric development, the Rocks Pirates now have a rich heritage, at least in terms of intelligence power. It can even crush the world government and the Navy. There are also capable people among them. Chapter 23 Rocks Pirates. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Secretly, there is the support of those forces that oppose the world government, which naturally includes the superpower of the Kingdom of Kronos. Therefore, the meaning represented by the Rocks Pirates is not that simple. The unprecedented Legion of Sin is not just talk. The Rocks Pirates' ability to become the absolute maritime overlord in today's world relies on their absolute strength. In addition, there is a corresponding sphere of influence. Nowadays, more than half of the New World has succumbed to the hands of the Rocks Pirates, and the remaining half belongs to the active area of the Navy. The junction is a friction-prone area. However, over the years, the Navy's power in the New World has been continuously reduced. As time goes by, more and more forces board locks, the Big Mac-class super aircraft carrier. What Nyx needs is just some cannon fodder, and it is more convenient to do some things. In addition to the Rocks Pirates, there are also a large number of affiliated pirate groups. The Night Pirates are just one of them. This is the Rocks Pirates, which represents a huge pirate group and a collection of forces headed by Rocks, the well-deserved uncrowned king of this era. The Night Pirates leave the Kingdom of Kronos. The traces of Nyx are not secret. Sailing on the sea, he will eventually go to the island for supplies. After the pirate ship left the waters of the Kingdom of Kronos, the traces of Night Lady Nyx were noticed by interested people. There are the Rocks Pirates, the Navy, the world government, or other forces of concern. When the death fruit fell into the hands of the Kingdom of Kronos, many people focused on the Kingdom of Kronos and Lady Night Nyx. How is it possible to leave silently? Although it's just a devil fruit, it doesn't mean anything. It's always people who pose a threat, not devil fruits, although there is no evidence yet. They have come to the conclusion that the power of the death fruit was obtained by Jaeger's son. They have different attitudes towards this. Who can guarantee that Hades will not become the next Jaeger? Examples of tiger father and dog son are not uncommon in the sea. Hades didn't know that he was already being noticed by the other party at this time, but so what? He had already been mentally prepared. This will have to be faced sooner or later. Come if you want. Beehive Island, Hachinos. Is that so? Son of Jaeger. It's so much fun. When he comes, let me train him properly. Are you in your teens now? That the news reached the Rocks pirates, and there were many different attitudes towards the complicated situation within the Rocks pirates. Some people miss Jaeger and are excited, and some have been taught by Jaeger and want to exact revenge on his children. Among them were Jaeger's former subordinates, pirates who admired Jaeger. There were also people who were unhappy with Hades' identity, and there were some who just wanted to watch the show and later joined the Rocks pirates. After all, it had been 8 years since Jaeger's death, which was enough time to kill many things, let alone a pirate who was sailing on the sea and having fun. Generally speaking, they can be divided into hostile factions, neutral factions and close factions. However, the hostile faction only accounts for a very small part, only a few. With Jaeger's strength and prestige, very few pirates who have offended can survive. They were more upset with Hades and thought Jaeger was dead. Since it is dead, there is no need to discuss it anymore. It is meaningless. So what about Jaeger's son? He's not Jaeger, so there's nothing to care about. The cruel person wanted to torture Hades and train him well. The dead Jaeger does not scare them, but the identity of Jaeger's son makes them feel more excited and happy. In the name of Jaeger's son, even if he comes, he is just a relative and cannot be taken seriously by them. Pirates are essentially the embodiment of evil, and there are many perverted people among them. When Jaeger died, the Rocks pirates had only been established for a few years, but they still left a deep mark. In the final analysis, it was because Hades was too young. In their eyes, he was just a child. They didn't care enough about him at all. They mostly treated him with contempt. In the world of pirates, what you can rely on has always been strength. The so-called friendship can only come at the back. Some pirates even have no morality at all. The goal justifies the means, and the impact that Hades may have when it arrives has made many people look forward to it. After all, he is the child of the god of death Jaeger. Is it a dragon or an insect? Once you try it, you will know that the Rocks pirates are a gathering place for monsters. However, the Rocks pirates still have a force that cannot be underestimated, and that is the pirates who once belonged to Jaeger. In that battle, Jaeger and the alternate commander-in-chief of Hell shared most of the firepower of the world government and the navy. Even though there were considerable losses, more than half of the pirates survived in the end. One of the Esper in CP0 is a barrier fruit Esper, and he used his ability immediately after Jaeger and the others stepped into the barrier. The powerful barrier enveloped 1/3 of the pirates, including Jaeger, like a spatial barrier, and isolated the remaining pirates. The entire barrier has absolute defense and no one can break it, so they can only watch the war begin. Jaeger's power was dispersed. You must know that at that time, Jaeger's power was the strongest among the Rocks pirates, and he had many trustworthy subordinates. There is only one person in Rocks, and the other surrendered sea overlords also have a mountain top where they gather their own strength. After Jaeger's death, these pirates naturally dispersed, and now the news of Hades has also caused a shock among them. Even though Jaeger has been dead for many years, he still has a huge influence in their hearts. However, recognizing Jaeger does not mean recognizing Hades. Even if Hades is better, there are many pirates who have accepted Jaeger's favor, and they are still the precious treasures that Jaeger left to Hades. With them here, Hades can avoid a lot of trouble in the future. Beehive Island is the base camp of the Rocks pirates and is now the gathering place for New World pirates. As soon as the news spread, the whole world knew about it. Chapter 24 Rocks Naval Headquarters. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There is a huge skeleton-like building on the island, with a huge amount of treasure piled up inside. Under the slightly dim light, a figure sat quietly on the lonely throne. The body is not tall, but the terrifying strength is frightening. This is the captain of the Rocks pirates and the leader of the evil group, Rocks D. Jibak. On top of this sea, a question may have many answers, but if you ask, who is the most terrifying monster in the world? The strongest man in this sea. There is no doubt that there is only one answer, and that is Rox D. Jibek. He once faced the 3 generals of the Navy headquarters with his own strength, and defeated the 3 generals with one enemy, and completely resounded throughout the sea. This is the most terrifying monster in the sea. The Admiral is the highest combat power of the Navy and the face of the world government. Together they can't even do anything to a single pirate. That was 10 years ago, and the Rox pirates, which had only been established for 2 years, completely detonated the sea and became the main threat to the world government. The Navy and the world government have lost face, and there are voices of doubt within the participating countries. Some do not believe that the power of the Navy can protect them, wants to set aside the world government and form its own maritime power. This is not allowed by the world government. It has always been strictly prohibited and suppresses the development of maritime power by the franchised countries. It has even formulated a special law to make the franchised countries become dependent on the world government. The premise is that the world government and Navy can protect the interests of the participating countries. If not, when the losses reach a certain level, this law will naturally be abolished. It is precisely because of this that in order to show his power, after the war with the Rox pirates failed to achieve results, the world government and the Navy have set their sights on the god of death Jaeger, who is not much weaker than Rox, and plan to kill an arm of the Rox pirates first. Otherwise, the 2 monsters combined will seriously threaten the dominance of the world government. For this, the world government also paid a heavy price. Then he has to face the revenge of the angry Rox. While exaggerating the death of Reaper Jaeger and deliberately ignoring the losses, the results displayed are enough to give an explanation to the franchise countries. Next, relying on the strong foundation of the world government, the 2 vacant general positions in the Navy were quickly filled and the situation in the sea was stabilized. It also avoids the turmoil of the world government. If this happens, the heavenly gold provided by the joining countries to the world government will definitely be reduced, because there is no need to rely on the Navy, and there is no such big dependence on the world government. And now Rox is only 49, compared with 10 years ago. His strength is more terrifying. No one knows what level Rox has reached, and Rox D. Jibak, who can subdue many monsters, is undoubtedly the monster among monsters. Looking at the news, he threw the bottle of wine aside. Rox D. Jibak's eyes were somewhat expectant, looking forward to Hades' arrival. Hades will eventually come to his side. This cannot be changed. He knows it, and so does the Navy and the world government. This is something that can be guessed, but that's all. After all, Hades is just Jaeger's son, just a young guy. With his relationship with Jaeger, he can still take care of him. After all, he is the child of an old friend, and pirates are also ethical among themselves. But if Hades' mud can't hold up the wall and is a waste, then don't blame him for being ruthless. Pirates have pirate survival rules. When you come to the Rox pirates, you must abide by the rules of the Rox pirates. If you fail to show your potential, then you are not worthy of his support. Even if he is the son of Jaeger, no, then he is not worthy of being the son of Jaeger. His existence is nothing more than bringing shame to Jaeger. But there was no rush. He knew Nyx relatively well, and knew that Nyx, who loved his son so much, would not send Hades to his ship so early. After all, Hades is still too young, only 12 years old now. If he comes to the Rox pirates without enough support, the blow he suffers will most likely make him unable to recover. There are too many such pirates. Those who think highly of themselves go to sea, are defeated, join the Rox pirates, and suffer heavy blows one after another. In the end, my heart completely collapsed, and I failed to get stronger and persevere through the setbacks. If you don't have enough ambition to match your talents, you are destined not to grow. Underneath the huge number of monsters of the Rox pirates, there are numerous corpses. There are countless pirates who are frustrated and have their dreams shattered. Marine Headquarters Marinavando. The worst has happened. Current Admiral Brack sighed and frowned. Marshal, he's just a little guy. Do you need to take him so seriously? Navy Admiral Cyborg Kong was a little confused. There's only one Jaeger, so how could there be another one? Who can guarantee that it won't happen? Brack asked. There has never been a weak person in the direct line of the Tartarus family, let alone this is Jaeger's child. Even if he is not as good as Jaeger, he will grow into a powerful man who conquers the sea sooner or later. How much worse can he be? Even if he is only half the strength of Jaeger, he is still an unimaginable enemy and will always be a threat to us. After all, we suffered too much loss in that battle. Brack sighed again. In order to deal with Jaeger, half of the Navy's high-end combat power was sacrificed, still haven't been able to recover. The lethality of the death fruit is so terrifying that it is even a nightmare in the hearts of countless people. Coupled with Jaeger's domineering strength, it was like a sharp blade piercing the main artery of the Navy. Brack, who is over 70 years old, has long planned to retire. But his retirement is far away. He probably won't be able to abdicate until the threat from the Rocks Pirates is removed. The negative impact of a coaching change at this period is great, and the Navy still needs his strength now, and it is difficult to support the situation with just one man. It is possible that he died in battle before then, but he was already prepared to die in battle. After hearing Marshal Brack's explanation, Cyborg Kong's expression became solemn, and he was not as worried as he was at first. The threat to Hades kept rising in his heart, as Brack said, even if Hades is not as good as Jaeger, how much worse can he be? The threat to the world's government and navy is greater than that of most pirates in the world. For such people, we should get rid of them as soon as possible while they are still young and before they grow up. He still takes things for granted, only focusing on the present and failing to focus on the future, and this is what he lacks. Then we need to send people to look for traces of Nyx as soon as possible, and we must kill the kid before he grows up. Cyborg Kong said decisively, with murderous intent in his eyes. Well, I have already sent people to do it. The naval bases in the New World will be watching. Having said that, Brack did not hold out much hope. Originally, Hades was hiding in the kingdom of Kronos, so it would be difficult for the navy to do this. A lot of men were lost, and they couldn't even enter the palace. The stronger world governments have failed in this regard, so what can their navy do? If you leave now, the only place you can go to is the Rocks Pirates, which is an area that the navy cannot reach now. It's too late to intercept the night pirate ship now. Chapter 25 Internal Conflicts in the Navy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Are there any outstanding young people in the Navy now? Brack looked at Cyborg Kong. He has a lot to deal with, mostly outside the Navy. A small number of affairs were taken over by Kong, which was regarded as training for Kong. As long as he steps down, his successor will definitely be Gangu Kong, whose strength is not weaker than him now, and is even better. This also gives Sora the power to cultivate his own direct lineage. Brack placed his hopes on the young Navy of the future. You must know that in order to deal with Jaeger, the Navy's high-end combat power was directly cut off, and it has only recovered somewhat so far. If the amazing young Navy did not step forward, how could the Navy intimidate the sea? There are still some good Marines. After hearing this question, the figures of 3 young Marines appeared in Sora's mind, which he had noticed before. Today there is no elite training camp in the Navy, where one can obtain a high military rank upon graduation. After graduation, you have to start from the bottom, work hard step by step, and rise to the top based on merit. If you have no connections or are noticed by people above, the speed of promotion will be very slow. Being suppressed often happens within the Navy. When everyone is at the same starting point, some talents often emerge suddenly. The 3 young Marines were promoted very quickly and were always able to complete their tasks, so they had been noticed by Kong. Another Zifa, who is still working at the grassroots level in obscurity, needs to wait until he is promoted to corporal at the age of 28 and learn the 6th form of the Navy before he can officially rise. You can take a closer look, Sora. As the Rocks Pirates grow, the pressure on our Navy becomes more severe. If necessary, you can get some resources from the secret vault. Marshal Brack said seriously. Yes, I understand. Sora understood what Brack meant. The Navy's secret warehouse has a lot of good things. There are precious devil fruits, rare natural types and fantasy beast species. Brack hopes to use it to train young and outstanding naval forces so that they can grow up as quickly as possible. In order to exchange for such a precious devil fruit, the credit required is very huge. Currently, only Cyborg Sora and Brack can exchange it in the Navy. Brack is willing to give up his achievements in exchange for the treasures in the secret vault. Anyway, he is over 70 years old and has dedicated his life to the Navy. There is no use keeping these achievements. Today, the internal situation of the Navy is not good, and factional disputes are very fierce. In particular, the two newly appointed naval admirals continue to expand their influence and promote their cronies. This is not a good thing for the Navy, as many young and outstanding Navy personnel cannot be promoted. The official rise of the Sea High faction in recent years has made Brack a little anxious. The Four Seas faction is deeply rooted in the Navy, and has always been an independent faction. Not only does it have extensive influence in the Four Seas, there are also many people in the Navy headquarters who belong to the Four Seas faction. The Four Seas is the foundation of the Navy and the world government. It has the largest sea area and population. With a huge base, it can continuously provide talents for the Navy, and the first ones they join are often the Four Seas factions. The navies in the world in this era are not as weak as they will be in the future. The governors of the Four Seas are each strong among lieutenant generals. They are the ambassadors of a sea area. They command all the forces of the Navy in a sea area and have no less power than a naval admiral. The governor's mansion alone is very luxurious. Each one is a fortress-level building, and it has a permanent force of 10,000 Navy. There is a naval fortress on each of the four sides of each sea area, guarded by a vice-admiral and with 5,000 sailors stationed there. Yes, the power of today's four-sea Navy will be unimaginable in the future. Each sea area has 5 vice-admirals. The governor's power is comparable to that of an admiral, and he even has the right to confer the title of vice-admiral. This is completely a maritime marshal, dividing his rights as a navy marshal. However, it is a fact that the Four Seas is weaker than the Great Line. A governor who is comparable to an admiral does not have the strength of an admiral. The vice-admirals of the Four Seas naturally do not have the strength of a vice-admiral. At most, he could barely reach the level of lieutenant general, or an ordinary existence among them. It is more than enough to suppress a sea area. Although Brack was dissatisfied with this, he did not have any strange ideas. To be precise, he also came from all over the world, but what he represents is himself, and he has come step by step to become the leader of the Doves. The Navy has always been like this, but with the war between the Navy and the Rocks pirates, it launched an encirclement and suppression campaign against Jaeger. The Navy headquarters lost a large amount of high-end combat power in a short period of time, resulting in a vacuum among the top brass within the Navy for a certain period of time. At this time, the Sea High faction, which had been suppressed and had sufficient strength, suddenly emerged and occupied a place in the Navy headquarters. In this case, Brack had no choice, because the Navy headquarters did lack strength and needed to replenish it as soon as possible. Even if they are lacking in strength, strong men from the Shirkai faction can use devil fruit to enhance their strength. One of the two newly appointed naval admirals, one named Puyol, is a representative of the West Sea faction and a neutral faction. One named Davis is a representative of the Nanhai faction and a Hawk. Together with the General Cyborg Kong who belongs to the Hawk faction, they form the current 3 generals. It seems unbalanced, with the neutral faction being strongly suppressed, and the 2 hawkish generals being enough to show the Navy's tough stance against pirates. But today's naval headquarters has too many imprints from all over the world. The 2 newly appointed naval admirals have close ties with the governors of the sea areas where they were born, and they win over members of the same sea areas and factions to expand their power. This approach has completely affected the unity within the Navy, and may even disrupt the original 3-point structure of the Navy headquarters. When one day the balanced 3-point pattern is replaced by the 4 sea factions, God knows what kind of consequences it will cause. The sky is high and the emperor is far away. There are governors on the head, and corruption is prevalent. In recent years, there has been a trend of colluding with local forces to earn illegal benefits. This trend has been spreading with the growth of the Four Seas factions in the Navy headquarters. This is what Brack is trying to contain. Chapter 26: The Out-of-Control Rocks Pirates. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Faced with such a situation, the Navy is now in urgent need of a new vitality, whether for the present or the future. With the current Navy alone, it is difficult to stop the Rocks pirates, who are now growing in power. He had fought against Rocks D. Jibak and knew how terrifying he was. He was no match for him one-on-one, and only with the addition of cyborg Sora could he compete. However, Sora had not yet eaten the devil fruit at that time. Later, he realized his shame and became brave. In order to obtain more powerful power to fight Rocks, Sora ate a phantom beast devil fruit. Coupled with his powerful physique and domineering power, Sora is now even more powerful and should have the capital to compete with Rocks D. Jibak, but it was just a counterattack. It was an unprecedented monster. Who knew what level he had reached now, what abilities are still hidden? Thinking of Locks, his arm ached. The Rocks pirates are completely out of control. As the Marshal of the Navy, he knew the plans of the world government, and the Navy was naturally involved. Very beginning, in the early days of the establishment of the Rock Pirates, the Navy and the world government also contributed to the development of the Rock Pirates. Just to set up a flag and make the Rocks Pirates the target of public criticism, the purpose is to make the pirates kill each other and consume the power of the New World Pirates. Then the Navy and the world government can take advantage of the situation and gather their strength to eliminate the Rocks Pirates in one fell swoop. In this way, the power of pirates will be greatly weakened, and it will also help the dominance of the world government. Even though the Rocks Pirates have two formidable pirates, Rocks and Jaeger, the world government still has such confidence. I don't think the Rocks Pirates can develop under the impact of other maritime overlords. Everything has two sides. If the power of pirates is weakened, the rule of the world government will be stable. As the pirates become more powerful, the world will become more chaotic, and the franchised countries will become more dependent on the world government. More countries will even become franchised countries, which will help the world government's heavenly gold increase. However, it will also cause some unforeseen losses. For different situations, the development of world government has different strategies. It's always been like this. It sounded like a perfect plan, but things turned out completely different from what they expected. They underestimated the strength of the Rocks Pirates. The power of the Rocks Pirates was beyond imagination. Many challenging pirates surrendered to Rocks one by one, and the power of Rocks Pirate Group expanded rapidly. Not to mention there are monsters like Jaeger who have killed army generals with astonishing records. Even before establishing the Rocks Pirates, Rocks D. Jibak had invited many monsters and strong men from the New World to join. The establishment of the Rocks Pirates was premeditated, not a spur-of-the-moment effort. There were many heroes at the beginning of its establishment. The world government's push has actually become a boost for the Rocks Pirates. You don't need to come to them one by one, you just need to wait for these arrogant pirates to challenge them, defeat them, and then conquer them one by one. Saved Rocks a lot of time. In the world of pirates, there is usually only one ending for losers, and that is death. But after being defeated at the hands of the Rocks Pirates, all you have to do is surrender and join them, and you can still retain a certain degree of autonomy. Why not? By the time they noticed this, it was already too late. The power of the Rocks Pirates expanded rapidly, growing stronger like a snowball, reaching a level that could threaten the Navy in a short period of time. To this end, the Navy specially dispatched a large fleet led by 3 generals, hoping to eradicate the Rocks Pirates before they could further expand. The war that shocked the world began, and the result was beyond everyone's expectations. The Navy was defeated, even a bit hastily. Even the 3 admirals couldn't defeat Rocks completely. The Navy's highest combat power became the stepping stone for Rocks D. Jibek to shock the sea, making the Navy lose face. If not for a timely retreat, this fleet would inevitably be destroyed. Who would have thought that a freak like Rocks could persist under the siege of 3 admirals? Not to mention that there are many monsters in the Rocks Pirates, and there are not many that Jaeger alone can resist. Now, the Rocks Pirates are even more unstoppable. The Navy and the world government are also completely focused on the Rocks Pirates. The 2 forces started the fiercest battle, and even Navy Marshal Brack personally took action. Most of the New World became a battlefield between the 2 parties, which lasted for more than a year, and both sides suffered considerable losses. No one has the upper hand. The Navy has its advantages. It has stronger intelligence, can concentrate its forces, and its battleships have stronger firepower than the pirates. The power of pirates is good, but it needs to be more dispersed. It was not until that big operation that the war between the 2 sides came to an abrupt end. The anxiety of the war with the Rocks Pirates put the Navy and the world government under tremendous pressure from world public opinion, and the participating countries began to distrust the power of the world government and the Navy. For this reason, a special plan was planned to weaken the Rocks Pirates, and the target was the god of death Jaeger. Although the operation against Reaper Jaeger was successful, it only hurt both sides. The huge losses made them unable to stop the development of the Rocks Pirates. Jaeger's death detonated the entire Rocks Pirates, and 90% of the naval fortresses in the New World were destroyed by the Rocks Pirates. The Navy, which suffered heavy losses, could not withstand it at all, not to mention the casualties and economic losses. The Rocks Pirates once wanted to join the G1 branch, which is the gateway to the world government. Today's naval bases are all rebuilt, and the money spent is unimaginable. This is also the reason why the Kingdom of Kronos does not pay attention to the rebellion caused by the world government. The world government simply cannot afford to consume funds without results for a long time, because they have suffered enough losses and are under huge financial pressure. Most of the franchised countries are on the side of the Kingdom of Kronos, and the world government also needs to rely on the heavenly gold of the franchised countries. In the end, the war ended with the Rocks Pirates' victory. The Rocks Pirates also officially replaced the Navy as the overlord of the New World, and became the only overlord of the New World. Chapter 27, Struggle for Resources. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Rocks Pirates have grown stronger over the years, and the Navy is still in the recovery stage and is not ready to confront the Rocks Pirates head-on. That is to say, a huge group like the Rocks Pirates cannot easily gather together and needs a suitable opportunity. Otherwise, the Navy wouldn't even be able to return to the New World. Marshal Brack also hoped that the young Navy could grow up quickly, so he specially applied for a batch of precious materials from the world government. Those top-notch devil fruits were sent by the world government. In the past, the Navy rarely had the opportunity to obtain precious devil fruits. Even if they did, they would be quickly replaced, and they would either eat them themselves or keep them for the next generation. In most cases, devil fruits found in the sea are collected by individuals or eaten directly. Therefore, although the Navy has a large collection of devil fruits, the truly rare ones are still in very short supply. This was what Brack had asked for from the world government. The world government also sent a batch of devil fruits in order to change the weak situation of the Navy. Nowadays, these devil fruits have been targeted by many people, mainly the naval generals of the Shuhai faction. This is very detrimental to the Navy, and it is something that Blake does not want to see. Giving them the precious devil fruit to eat is just a waste of the potential of the devil fruit. Therefore, Black hopes that Cyborg will exchange these precious devil fruits and use them to cultivate young and promising Marines and contribute to the new generation of the Navy. With the contributions of the two of them, there is basically nothing that cannot be exchanged in the Navy's secret treasury. Brack also needs to get rid of those bad thoughts within the Navy as soon as possible. The emergence of two new generals has both advantages and disadvantages for the Navy now. They are all generals in the Navy who relied on devil fruits to be promoted, and they are not able to convince the public in terms of strength. It is incomparable to Sora, and its strength is even worse, but it will become an obstacle to the future development of the Navy. Kong has a high prestige in the Navy, but sometimes interests can win people over, and many naval officers are willing to get close to the other two generals. More and more people were approaching them. If Sora becomes the Navy Marshal, he will not be guaranteed to control the following, and this is what Blake least wants to see, especially when there is a foreign invasion like the Rocks Pirates. Although the factional disputes within the Navy have always been fierce, it is just out of time. Now, he needs to help Kong gain dominance within the Navy as soon as possible, so he needs to focus on the new generation of Navy and cultivate the next generation who is close to Kong. In fact, this is what was done. With Black's authorization, Kong promoted many outstanding naval officers within the Navy, and these will become the backbone of Kong's family in the future. Only with unity within the Navy can we deal with the even more terrifying Rocks Pirates. Brack chose Kong as his successor. He represents the Doves and Kong represents the Hawks. The two belong to different factions, but Brack is a Marine, facing evil legions like the Rocks Pirates. The Navy can only win with a tough and powerful Sora. As for the Sihai faction, Brack has decided to suppress it. He believes that after Kong succeeds to the throne, he will not miss the opportunity to suppress the Sihai faction. He just helps Kong do some things first. He will send the other two admirals to the New World to guard them and avoid causing trouble. At the same time, naval generals and naval elites from all over the world must also be summoned to the Navy headquarters. The world government already has plans to rearrange the Navy in the New World to fight against the increasingly terrifying evil legions. Under the orders of the world government, even the governor of the Four Seas would never dare to refuse. The Navy is about to launch a full-scale war against the Rocks Pirates. Are you not here because you want to rebel? Cyborg Kong has already gone out, and with the approval of Marshal Black, he wants to get those precious devil fruits first. After all, the Navy he trained were his direct descendants. The door to the office was closed, and Brack looked at the information on his desk and sighed. However, several young monsters appeared in the Rocks Pirates. a weird boy named Edward Newgate. A young double-sword swordsman named Shurji now has the title of Shiki. They are all newcomers to the Rocks Pirates. They have just joined the Rocks Pirates not long ago, but they have already begun to stand out. Over time, they will become enemies with major threats. There is also the young female pirate named Charlotte Lingling. For her intelligence in the Navy, she is a natural monster. She had a chance to become the Navy's top combat force, but I don't know what went wrong. He disappeared for so many years, and now he received a reward of 50 million when he appeared. Brack knew that such a bounty was far from enough, and there would soon be a surge. Now there is another Tartarus Hades, and behind him stands a world superpower like the Kingdom of Kronos. He knew what the world government was doing, but it was of no use. He didn't want to go to war with the Kingdom of Kronos unless it was absolutely necessary. Not to mention that this was a tough nut to crack and it couldn't be won without the Navy's full attack. What's more, the Kingdom of Kronos is a country with a population of 80 million and has a permanent army of 3 million. The great general of the kingdom is also a strong man that few people in the New World can match. If it really takes action, the negative public opinion in the world alone will be enough to kill the Navy and the world government. Although many kingdoms were destroyed due to the invasion of celestial dragons or pirates, the influence of the world government was behind them. But these are just some small countries with little influence and cannot even pay gold in the sky. These destroyed countries have never included countries that are members of the world government. Even if they do, they cannot be exposed. What the affiliated countries fear most is the interference of the world government in the internal politics of the kingdom. Whether they are affiliated countries of the world government or not, those small countries can be ignored, but the Kingdom of Kronos is different and has huge influence in the world. In a new world, power spreads all over the world. 10 huge island turtles can travel across the windless zone to the 4 seas. Each time they transport a huge amount of materials, they have close trade relations with many kingdoms in the New World and even the 4 seas. With such ability, many forces in the New World have trade cooperation with the Kingdom of Kronos. Through such a relationship, the benefits that the Kingdom of Kronos can obtain are far beyond those of those underground forces. Especially the political and economic interests give the Kingdom of Kronos a unique position. As a superpower, it's powerful. Military power allows the Kingdom of Kronos to sit firmly on the Diaryutai and stand firm in the chaotic New World. This is not the future, but compared to Joker, who became the king of the dark world through the arms trade, the gap in essence is huge. Chapter 28 Superpower. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There are only a handful of kingdoms in the New World that have the same unique status. Located in dangerous waters, ordinary ships cannot easily enter and exit the giant country Elbaf, where the precious tree Adam is located. Possessing the terrifying power of the giants, the broken branches of the Adam's tree that flow out every year are an astonishing wealth. The giant pirates that swept across the world more than 50 years ago still have nightmare legends left behind, and this is only part of the power of the giant country. The eternal kingdom is wrapped in the eternal storm. As the name suggests, the eternal storm exists forever. Basically no ship can pass through the eternal storm, only the eternal kingdom itself. Eternal kingdom has a unique eternal metal, which has super hardness and stability, and can even absorb impact. The weapons forged from this are terrifying. The eternal battleship even managed to survive the storm without falling. Possessing astonishing and terrifying military power, like the Kingdom of Kronos, it is a superpower with a heritage of more than 1,000 years. In addition, there is the Holy Light Empire in the South China Sea, a sect country with the light god religion as its main body. It has extraordinary influence in the South China Sea, and its members are all over the South China Sea. The ancient Daxia kingdom in the East China Sea is close to the windless zone. It is said that it has a close connection with the dragon race, the only rumored inhuman race on the sea. The Kingdom of Landis in the West Sea is located on San Valentin Island and occupies more than 80% of the land on San Valentin Island. The rest of the territory has been divided into dozens of kingdoms, most of which are vassals of the Kingdom of Landis. 200 years ago, there was only one kingdom on San Valentin Island, and that was the Kingdom of Landis. The Kingdom of Landis was the last victim of the world government, and its struggle with the world government was eye-catching and lasted for nearly 100 years. In the end, the world government seemingly succeeded in dividing the Kingdom of Landis, but most of the divided kingdoms were aligned with the Kingdom of Landis, or were indirectly ruled by the Kingdom of Landis. The Kingdom of Landis used the method of retreat to advance very cleverly, but it just changed its way of ruling San Valentin Island. Hilton Kingdom, the Golden Country in the North Sea, as its name suggests, is rich in gold and its economic strength is terrifying. With huge funds, the Kingdom of Hilton has developed strongly in all aspects, with a permanent force of 2 million. It still has some connections with the world government and is a member of the world government. No one can ignore the power of huge amounts of gold, not even world governments. The share of heavenly gold is nothing to the Hilton Kingdom, and it can gain many privileges to develop secretly. However, like the Kingdom of Kronos, these kingdoms are very low-key and have not reached a certain level. Some people may have never heard of the names of these countries, and those who know them do not dare to provoke them. Under the suppression of the world government, they did not come forward and watch the development of the sea. As for the first half of the Great Line, there once was a superpower called the Kingdom of Alabasta, covering an area of over 1 million square kilometers. However, it has gradually weakened over the past 800 years and has been kicked out of the ranks of superpowers. Its strength is completely mismatched. On the contrary, it is now recognized as a superpower, which I have to say is a bit ridiculous. The world government's actions against the Kingdom of Kronos, although it doesn't seem like much on the surface, these participating countries all see it, especially with the Kingdom of Landis ahead. No matter what, don't underestimate these franchise countries. The foundation for the survival of the world government lies on them, which is the gold in the sky. Without the heavenly gold, it would be very difficult to maintain the world government. Once upon a time, the actions of the world government made the participating countries dissatisfied, and they united to boycott the world government and proactively cut 70% of the heavenly gold. The impact this has on the world government is huge. They did not expect this situation to occur and have no way to deal with it. As long as they dare to take tough measures, a large number of kingdoms will leave the ranks of the world government's participating countries, and the results can be imagined. The world government almost fell apart and was forced to lay off personnel, and the Navy also laid off a large number of its Navy like never before. Because there is not enough military expenditure to maintain it, after paying a heavy price, the world government was able to stabilize the situation, and it also taught the world government a profound lesson. In addition to these superpowers, there are many powerful countries with strong foundations, such as the Kingdom of Flowers in the West Sea. Therefore, some actions can only be done in secret, and evidence cannot be exposed openly, for the appearance of Hades. The world government also stepped up its efforts to send people to sneak into the Kingdom of Kronos, trying to obtain the whereabouts of Hades. Search for information about the Night Lady on the sea. The person standing at the top didn't pay much attention to it. After all, he was just a teenager. Instead of focusing on a child who has not yet grown up, it is better to target the Rock's pirates who are a greater threat. One is a future threat and the other is a present threat. Undoubtedly Lock's D. Jibek is more important. The Rock's pirates have been developing steadily for several years. Based on their understanding of that man, they will definitely not continue to be so stable. The current silence is just for the next bigger explosion. There will be action soon, and by then, the Navy must also take action. In recent years, the world government has consciously increased its military expenditures on the Navy, and its investment has increased significantly. Conflicts in the New World are now little more than minor conflicts. Chapter 29 Life-plundering domineering power. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After sailing on the sea for several days, the night pirates arrived at Night Island. Night Island is the territory of the night pirates. Due to the unique geographical environment and special magnetic field, the sky is always shrouded by dark clouds, and the sun shines through for only 1 month in a year. Therefore, the light of Night Island is dim, which can also maximize the effect of Night Lady Nyx's abilities. Moreover, Night Island is just an ordinary island and does not have particularly abundant supplies. With the night pirates stationed there, generally no pirates will come to plunder it. Even if the night pirates leave, nothing will happen to the Night Island with the night pirates flag. As a famous pirate in the New World, many people would not easily provoke Lady Night Nyx. It's just an ordinary island. Those who are powerful look down on it, but those who are less powerful don't dare to offend it. Seen from a distance on the sea, the island shines brightly against the dim background. As we got closer, we saw the island was brightly lit. For residents of the Isle of Night, nightlife is always there. Therefore, business development is very prosperous, and it has also attracted many pirates, especially the body art industry. And even a dedicated street has been established. It can be seen that, under the protection of Mother, the development of this island is still very good. Nyx doesn't care about the expansion of his territory, because they all belong to the Rock's pirates, even Night Island. Ms. Yi is back. That the pirates patrolling the port immediately noticed the pirate ship of the night pirates. The news soon spread throughout the island, and ships along the way moved out of the way to make room. There is a special location at the port reserved for the night pirates. Hades was also a little curious. This was the first time he had seen such a scene, whether in his previous life or in this life. After all, he had been staying in the kingdom of Kronos since he was born and had no chance to go out. Hades, this is just a transit point. Don't get off the ship. I will take you away in the evening. There will be a lot of people staring at us. The pirate ship slowly docked, and Nyx glanced at the port. She was sure that there were people secretly sent by other forces. Understood, Mother. Hades didn't care, exercising his abilities, controlling the power of death, wrapping around his body, compressing and condensing at his fingertips. The terrifying destructive power can easily corrode the flesh and blood of others, and the vitality will be exhausted under the power of death. With the manual left behind by his father, the development of the death fruit progressed quickly and there was a specific direction. After all, the ideas in the manual are very detailed. As long as you follow them, you can avoid detours. Hades had some different ideas about the development of this powerful superhuman devil fruit, but obviously, it is impossible to do it with his current level of development. The extremely terrifying lethality consumes physical strength. If he had more physical strength, his father Jaeger would not be defeated. After all, with his monster-like physique and three-color domineering power, Jaeger is still the top strongman in the sea even without relying on the power of the death fruit, and his father was eventually consumed to death. He was wasted to death by each navy like a frog boiled in warm water. This is the same as the future navy capturing Douglas Barrett. The devil's descendant, however, Jaeger did not give in. Unwilling to be caught by the world government and the navy. Once imprisoned in Impel Down City, he would lose his freedom. The kingdom of Kronos will even be threatened by the world government, and we don't know what undesirable things will happen. In that case, the kingdom of Kronos is not far away from disintegration. How could they not know the plans of the world government? What is death? The passage of life, the loss. For Hades, death is plunder, plundering the lives of others. Jaeger's death hunting can release the terrifying power of death, obliterating all life within a certain range. As for death plunder, in Hades's expectation, it may not be as powerful as death hunting in terms of pure power, but it can plunder the vitality of others and feed it back to oneself. Then convert this vitality into physical strength and restore your own state. The essence is still the same. But there is an additional link to feed oneself back. If you can do this and replenish your physical strength and condition, you can keep fighting like a perpetual motion machine. Faced with the situation of large numbers of people, it will become an advantage. Even when facing only one enemy, the power of death can continuously draw life force from the surrounding environment. Hades' experience told him that he who ate the death fruit was the master of death and controlled death. It even includes life and soul. This was something that his father Jaeger had not touched upon or thought of. At present, Hades only has an idea, and whether it can reach that level depends on Hades' own development. There is still a lot of potential in this devil fruit that can be tapped. Jaeger's path is correct, but it is not perfect because it goes to extremes and reaches the ultimate in lethality. This also saves Hades time, so he can focus on other aspects of the development of the death fruit. Many thought he would become a second Jaeger, which is not what Hades wants to hear. He has his own pride. He is Tartarus Hades, the one and only. He will surpass his father, Death Jaeger, in every way. This starts with the development of the death fruit. No one wants to live in someone else's shadow, but Hades has absolute confidence in himself. Not only him, but also his mother, his uncle Bane, and even his father Jaeger all believed that Hades could surpass Jaeger. In addition to devil fruits, it is physical exercise, carrying weights on the body, and performing daily and arduous physical training. In the process, the body will naturally become stronger. Hades has firmly memorized the key points of awakening Haki, but it takes fierce battles to stimulate this power in the body. Even Hades can already feel the domineering power in his body, and his body is completely sufficient. As long as he awakens the domineering power of Hades, his strength will surely rise sharply. What kind of force is domineering? It is naturally present in the human body. According to Hades' understanding, the stronger a person's body, the more powerful his domineering energy. Many monsters are born with very powerful haki, and once they awaken, their quality will exceed that of many people who have awakened their haki for many years. The enhancement of physical fitness can improve the quality of domineering energy. In the same way, after awakening haki can also passively and slowly temper the body, enhance a person's physical strength, and enhance it in all aspects. Therefore, once some people awaken their haki, their combat power will be greatly enhanced. With the training of domineering and the increase in the intensity of domineering, the effect of tempering the body will be further strengthened, so that one's own body can begin to move towards the realm of monsters. In this world, domineering is king. This sentence is never wrong. When it reaches a certain level, you can even use your domineering energy to actively temper your body. The effect is stronger than passive tempering, and the speed of improvement is faster. Strong domineering energy, in turn, promotes the body to become stronger, making people more perfect. Let those who are born with physical weakness close the gap between those who are born to be monsters. It is like a special force, like internal force, promoting the body's secondary development and even evolution. None of the truly top monsters are domineering and weak, and domineering will also be the best way to improve Hades' strength before the period of rapid physical development. Hades is eager to awaken his armed domineering energy, and his physical strength is already enough. Ananke is learning about navigation. In addition to general training in combat, she wants to become a navigator, so that she can also help Hades in the future navigation of the sea. Joining the Rocks pirates means sailing on the sea. In the ever-changing climate of the New World, the existence of navigators is extremely precious. Chapter 30: The 9 Snake Pirates. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Titan's training is very simple, except for the same weight-bearing exercises, which is eating, the devouring power of the gluttonous fruit. As long as he keeps eating, Titan's body will continue to improve. The powerful gluttony talent is similar to the ability to swallow fruits. Even steel can be easily digested by Titan. As time goes by, Titan will only become more and more terrifying, and now his physical strength is much stronger than Hades. The increase in gluttonous fruit is just one of them. In the kingdom of Kronos, Titan swallowed a large amount of precious metals, and Titan's body has long been invulnerable. The steel and iron bones, even the skin, cannot be penetrated by bullets, leaving at most a shallow mark. The negative effect is that the weight of the body increases exponentially, but the impact is not significant. In terms of strength, Hades is currently not as good as Titan. The growth rate of the phantom beast species is very terrifying, and the ability of the Tautai fruit allows the Titan to quickly become stronger in a short period of time regardless of physical limitations. Titan has been eating the Tautai fruit for nearly 10 years, and has developed the Tautai fruit to a very advanced level. It's far beyond what Hades, who had just eaten the devil fruit, could compare to. Not to mention the age gap. Hades is 12 years old now, and he will not enter his rapid growth period until he is 15 or 16 years old. By that time, your body will feel as if it has broken free of its shackles, and all aspects will enter a stage of explosive growth. Titan came to follow Hades precisely because of his natural talent and the potential shown by the devil fruit. The combination of the two allowed him to become the world's top powerhouse and Hades' strongest arm. After all, in the New World, there are many people who are born with strange powers and strong bodies. There are not a few people like Carp who have hit a tiger at a young age. The effect of Hades' domineering power can also prevent people with evil intentions from appearing around him. Therefore, Hades has great trust in the Titans. The daylight on Night Island is dim, only reflected from the sea outside this sea area and not affected by the special magnetic field, and the night is pitch black because there is no moon. So the lights on the island were never turned off. Hades and others did not land on the island and stayed in the room on the ship. The island of Night had long been undercurrent with the arrival of Ms. Night Nix. There are many people who want to explore the information. The final result is undoubtedly not to be discovered by Nix and then end his life. No matter what force is standing behind them, Hades' domineering power of knowledge covered most of the island, and he also discovered some fish that slipped through the net, but he didn't care, because he knew that there was no way to kill all of these people. If you kill a group, another group would appear, so it would be better to just leave them alone. Besides, he wouldn't be able to stay on Night Island for long. To his mother, Nix, Night Island was not important, it was just a place to stay and could be changed at any time. His mother didn't even care about the night pirates and could abandon them at any time. The unique environment makes the sea outside Night Island extremely dark, but it will be much better as long as you leave this small sea area. Her mother came, and a veil of night enveloped their bodies. Following their mother, they sneaked into a small boat and gradually sailed away from the port. As for the people under surveillance at the port, my mother had already specially cleaned them up. In the envelope of night, no one even noticed a ship leaving in the darkness. They also didn't know about the departure of Lady Night Nyx. Hades knew that his mother had abandoned those members of the night pirates. She came with a large amount of treasure, indicating that she had no intention of coming back. After she left, no matter what happened on the island, whether it fell into internal chaos, or if other pirates set their sights on the island, the final outcome had nothing to do with her. This group of burdens has no value anymore, isn't that a sure thing? The mother took them to a secret place to learn how to lead ordinary pirates, but Hades was a little curious about where they would go. The boat sailed in one direction, and there was a life card in the mother's hand. It seemed to be attracted by something, and it moved slowly in the palm of her jade hand. Finally, a pirate ship appeared in front of him. Hades took a closer look and felt something familiar, a pirate flag like the sun, with 9 snakes surrounding the cave head. There are 2 giant sea snakes in front of the pirate ship, pulling the pirate ship forward. The appearance of the pirate ship is very different. After all, it is normal for the pirate ship to be renovated or even rebuilt over the years. Moreover, each captain of this pirate group has different styles and preferences. Is this the 9 Snakes Pirates? Hades couldn't help but ask. That's right, the place we are going to is the Windless Zone, where we can avoid interference from the Navy and the world government, and it is impossible to find us. The environment there will also give you enough training. Nyx touched Hades' head and said, "Mother, do you know the captain of the 9 Snakes Pirates?" Well, the 9 Snakes Pirates are a pirate group affiliated with the Rocks Pirates. They have just joined for 2 years. Their captain is also the king of the Amazon Kingdom. He is only 19 years old, but his strength cannot be underestimated. Having said this, Nyx glanced at Hades with a smile in his eyes, stretched his head to Hades' ear and whispered, "You know she is Mom's good sister, she is a super beauty. If you like her, honey, I can introduce her to you. This is a little monster. When combined with you, it will definitely produce an excellent bloodline." That I didn't expect my mother to be so out of tune and say this in front of an Enki. Although her voice was small, everyone on the boat could hear it, and this is indeed what Nyx thought. Ananke pouted in displeasure and hugged Hades with her arms. Although she knew that she could not be the only woman in Hades' future, she would definitely be the first one. "Mom, what's the hurry? It's too early now." Hades was a little helpless. He was only 12 years old now, so what was the rush? Although the body's development was completely overdeveloped compared to previous lives, at 1.9 meters tall, she is almost as tall as her mother. However, Hades did not refuse. He insisted on the principle of not resisting or rejecting such things. In his previous life, he had countless women, and they all rushed to fall into his arms. He tried all kinds of women, and winning the bid was all about taking chances. He was famous in the circle, and he once became known as the Wolf Warrior in the Demon City number. Now he has not tasted meat for 12 years, although everything that should be available is available. It is indeed too early for Hades and they still need to wait a few more years. At this time, the 9 Snakes Pirates seemed to have discovered them, as 2 sea snakes pulled the pirate ship closer to them.